Well, so the crowd stood the entire time. He also gave this speech in Saudi Arabia. Go ahead and check this out. And this is refreshing from a United States president. We're not going to play the whole speech, but we got a 2-minute excerpt of it. I want to show you guys. Go ahead.
The transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
You guys have no idea how refreshing that is to hear from an American president who publicly calls out the neocons and nation builders. I mean, think about this. This has been my entire life. My entire life. We had Clinton in the 90s. Then in the 2000s, you have the Bush administration that never saw war it didn't like. Then after that, you had the Obama administration that campaigned on peace and non-interventionism. But my God, they were worse than the Bushes somehow. Then you went to Donald Trump, and we thought, okay, in 2016, maybe we're actually going to get somewhere. But he made the mistake, which he admits he made the mistake, of surrounding himself with a lot of those same neocons that were tied to the Bush administration. Then you go to Biden. We all know how that went. And now we're finally out of the woods. He's surrounded himself, for the most part, not 100%, but doing well, for the most part, with people who don't want to get involved in all these useless foreign wars. And you've got an American president going over saying, for the first time in my lifetime, not just my adult lifetime, my lifetime, going over and saying nation building doesn't work. When the U.S. government puts its fingers into the affairs of the Middle East, we make things worse. When you look at the countries we've gotten involved with, countries like Afghanistan, countries like Syria, countries like Yemen, and when you look at the countries we leave alone, countries like the UAE, countries like Saudi Arabia, the difference is pretty clear-cut. When we get involved, we fuck things up. When we leave them alone and let them deal with their own problems, which, by the way, were never ours to begin with, those countries thrive. And an American president saying that is historical, because we've never had someone actually admit to that that's in any real position of power to affect the way foreign policy is run in this country. Refreshing. Now, we'll see if he puts his money where his mouth is, and that continues over the next 3 years. Believe me, we're going to hold him accountable either way here on this show. On top of that, you had India-Pakistan kickoff a week ago. It was the shortest yet smelliest war of the last decade. India-Pakistan, they've got this weird rivalry the way that Nebraska and Iowa do. It's just like this border war. We have to hate each other, even though we're kind of the same thing, if we're being honest here. But they had this rivalry, and it got real. India fired rockets into Pakistan, and Pakistan went, okay, you want to do that? Cool. We're calling a meeting. And they asked Vice President Vance about that. And again, this was refreshing. He said this is fundamentally none of our business, which at the time it wasn't. If these countries want to have skirmishes, it's not our business. But it became our business and everybody else's business on Earth when Pakistan said, cool, India wants to shoot missiles into Pakistan. We're going to call up all of our top nuclear officers and have a discussion about whether or not we're going to drop the big one for the first time since Hiroshima. Then the administration went, India or Pakistan, or anywhere for that matter, getting nuked would have devastating effects on the world economy, which is already somewhat fragile. We're making gains, slowly trying to fix it. We don't want this situation that's totally out of our control, and it really does have nothing to do with us to derail all of that work. So let's go help them out. And the Trump administration, within 24 hours, mediated a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, nearly went nuclear until they got involved and they prevented it. Now they're talking. That same poly market that we were just talking about, Donald Trump just skyrocketed to be the odds-on favorite to win the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. Mia, think for a second. The meltdowns, we're going to be able to do a full episode of just liberal meltdowns again if they give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. That'll be a whole 2-hour show. Just people freaking out. And I'll tell you what, this last development we're going to cover on here for the lead topic might solidify that even further. Because Iran said this week, Iran, the people that say death to America, they hold death to America street parties over there. It's like their whole identity is hating America. Like, you know, those people, they have like way too much of their identity is tied into hating something, and it's kind of weird. You see like grown men that way too much focus on how much they hate Taylor Swift, or people who hate like Tom Brady way too much. It's just kind of weird. Like, it's okay to dislike things and have a distaste for it, but they just go over that line. Well, Iran has that for the United States. And Iran said this week they would commit to never making nuclear weapons and getting rid of their stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, which can be weaponized into nuclear weapons, and agree to only enrich uranium to lower levels needed for civilian use, such as power plants, along with allowing international inspectors to supervise the process in exchange for the immediate lifting of all economic sanctions on Iran. Now, I don't think we're going to get all economic sanctions lifted. However, the fact that they would even suggest that is a step in the right direction. They're not going to get all the sanctions lifted because there's a lot of human rights violations going over in Iran, and it's not a country that we should trust. But if Iran is willing to come to the table on denuclearization, that would be a massive step toward peace in the Middle East. A lot of what you're seeing over on with Israel and Palestine would come to a close on its own if we got that. So I think this is a very important development. And if this happens, they got to give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. I think he gets the Nobel Peace Prize just for what he's doing over in India, Pakistan. You know what Trump should do, Mia? Trump should tier this, okay? I mean, he stopped a nuclear war with India, Pakistan. You have to give him the Nobel Peace Prize this year. There's no way around it. But I think over the next couple years, I think in 2026, he should stop the Ukraine and Russia war and then win the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize. In 2027, he should stop the Israel-Gaza war and win the 2027 Nobel Peace Prize. And then in 2028, he can get Iran to denuclearize and win the 2028. Wouldn't that be the ultimate troll if he went back to back to back to back? I mean, if he became the Tom Brady of Nobel Peace Prizes at his second term, what an accomplishment that would be. Like, you talk about, okay, you're a two-term president now. What? Some people think you won 3 elections. I don't know, but what else do you have left to accomplish? How about 4 Nobel Peace Prizes in a row? If you just space it out right and sandbag enough, you might be able to pull it off. Anyway, that. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.